guys, Nick D here. Let me tell you what we're going to do today. First of all, you can now buy the DR365 as a complete unit, ready to go. If you'll just go to BaragoExports.com, you can order your unit right there. Now, let's talk about hooking this unit up. I always recommend that you not hook it up yourself, but get with a mechanic and let the mechanic hook it up. But to walk you through the steps, that's what we're going to do today. We have a 1999 Dodge Durango with a big block V8. We've already located our ground wire, and all we've done, we just come right off the firewall, and it already had a ground wire going to it. The next thing we've done, we found a source, a hot source, 12-volt hot source, that comes on when the ignition is on, right here. So we've tapped into that wire. We've also put our inline fuse. This is just an extra safety precaution that I like to put in. Also, if you want to turn your unit off, you just simply pull the fuse and the unit's off. Should anything happen, it's going to pop this fuse before it pops the fuse in the fuse box. The next thing we did, we located right here, we located at the base of the throttle plate a vacuum entry. So I put a T on it, and here's our T. So we've teed off going into the throttle body, and now we're going to run our line from the reservoir coming from the hydrogen converter into the T. So let's now put all this together. We have to find a place to put the converter. In this particular car, we don't have a lot of room, and that's what you're going to find in most cases. So you have to look around to make sure you got enough room. But I think what we're going to do, we're going to use this spot right here. So I'm going to take tie straps, got one tie strap on. I do want to put another one on. But obviously you don't have all the room in the world to work on with these things. Okay, we've got that in place. We'll trim up our straps. And we will now connect our hot lead. Where do I find an electrical source? Well, you've got to find an electrical source that's only hot when the key is on. I still think the windshield wipers are a good place to work from. Any place that when the key is on, you've got a hot lead. That way, when you turn your engine on, when you turn your ignition on, your converter's on. Hooking up our ground. We got those two hooked up. Now for our reservoir. Now what's going to happen here, the hydrogen is going to come out of the top and it's going to go into this line, into the bottom of this reservoir. Another line is going to come out from here and it's going to go to the T. Remember that I told you we hooked up over here going into the throttle body. So now we have to find a place to put our reservoir. And really the reservoir can sit It's not that critical because it's very light. There's nothing in it. And all it does is just the gas goes in the bottom and it's going to come out the top. That's all it's going to do. Now, we're going to run a line from our T and guys, when you're running this line, make sure it's as short as possible. You don't want to have extra line just hanging around. So make sure it's as short as possible. One more tie strap just to make sure this is secured. Now for our electrolyte. This is nothing more than distilled water, and I start off with about a half a teaspoon of the baking soda per quart of water. So we're going to take this, and we're now going to fill our unit. Okay. Can you turn the ignition on? This is the hydrogen gas as it mixes with the gasoline vapors that's in the intake manifold. You're going to burn much hotter. You're going to have more horsepower. Your engine's going to run much smoother, and consequently, you're going to get more miles per gallon. So let me finish hooking all this up, and then the next time we come back, we'll crank it up and see how it runs, okay? Let's recap what we've done, okay? We hooked up our ground wire. We've hooked up our hot wire. We've got a fuse, inline fuse, coming from our hot wire, going to our positive and our negative on the converter itself. We've strapped our converter in place where we want it. Coming out, we've already put our distilled water and our electrolyte in there. Coming out of the converter, going into the bottom of the reservoir, coming out of the top of the reservoir, going into the T, into the throttle body of the engine. We've just barely cracked our vent on top of the converter, and we're ready to crank it up. So Lawrence, if you would do the honors, fire it off. That's it, folks. Hydrogen's being produced here. It's coming out of here, going into the reservoir. Coming from the reservoir, going into the throttle body of the engine. And like I said, you can now buy this unit, the DR365